Hi everybody, welcome to week 4. Before we talk about what you'll be doing for this week, I just want to say a few words about week 3. There was some trouble with the thesis statement workshop. The purpose of this was not to create perfect thesis statements, it was to make them better than they were, which honestly wasn't that hard to do. However, if your revised sentence included words such as sexy, interesting, or disgusting, you missed the point on those. So to make those thesis statements stronger, you need to remove those adjectives because they are unsupportable. So for example, how would you say something about Madonna and Britney that wasn't necessarily comparing who is sexier, which is a relative term and can't be supported with evidence and would therefore not be a strong thesis statement. One example could be you could focus on record sales. You could look at how Madonna has endured and has been more successful over time based on her record sales from certain years, based on the fact that her concert this past weekend, sold out in a certain amount of time. And perhaps based on the fact that she has stayed out of the public spotlight, unlike Britney. So those are actually things you could show over time, and maybe even choose specific dates to focus on. For the quiz this week, some of you had trouble with the question about what a thesis statement should and should not contain. So a thesis statement should be debatable. And not just debatable as in someone is sexy or something is disgusting. That's debatable, but it's not supportable. So it has to be debatable and supportable, and it should be concise. So it's something that you really are going to be revising until you hand in the paper. What a thesis statement is not a statement of fact. So a statement of fact such as the capital of California is Sacramento. That is not a thesis statement, nor is it a very compelling thing to want to say in a paper. There would be nowhere for it to go. Your paper would be one sentence, and it would say the capital of California is Sacramento. So nobody's going to be writing statements of fact for their thesis statements in these first papers. For week 4, you'll be working on figuring out how to make your thesis statement stronger, avoiding those types of unsupportable adjectives, thinking about your counter-argument, who would argue with you, and finally reading 2 more articles about this topic. These will be the final ones you'll be reading. And you're welcome to use any of the articles from this class, though I really do encourage you to go onto LexisNexis, do some research, and see what you can come up with. But you need to be thinking about who would argue with you and how you can actually be as specific as possible about what you want to say about higher education. Maybe even narrow it to a specific school. Some of you want to work specifically on University of Akron. Some of you want to talk about vocational schools. Those are examples of angles. A couple of just words of advice for this week, for week 4. Your deadline for posting your rough draft to Dropbox is Friday at 11:59. After you post your draft, you'll look up the peer response workshop, you'll find your partner, you'll read their draft, and then you'll answer some 5 peer response questions. If for some reason your partner doesn't contact you, just send me an email and I can partner you up with someone else. But you need to contact me about that as early as possible. I would like you to at least say hello in the peer response workshop, just to let them know that you received the paper. The comments will be due, your responses will be due Sunday at 11:59. You will then have another week to revise based on the peer response comments on mine, and the draft of that, the final draft of Essay 1 will be due Sunday, 11:59 of week 5. That will not be the last time you touch that essay. You'll have, once you get the grade back on that essay, you'll have one more shot to revise it for the final portfolio. And the final portfolio is going to reflect pretty much your best work on all of the essays for this class. And finally, if you are logging on to this class Friday or even Saturday, the chances are it's going to be very difficult for you to actually do the assignments well. The students who do best in this class are the ones who actually check in regularly throughout the week. So keep this in mind when you're kind of scheduling your week. It doesn't take a lot of time just to kind of spread out rather than have a chunk of 3 hours. Have 15 minutes, at least every day where you're looking into doing a discussion post or taking a quiz. But you really want to be spreading that out so you're not trying to accomplish it all at once. It's meant to take a week, not a matter of hours. As always, if you have questions, if you have any trouble at all with the peer response, just send me an email. And again, quiz questions, always send them to me as soon as you have them so I can change anything that needs to be changed. This week we don't have a quiz, so enjoy the break and have a great week 4. And I look forward to talking with you all online.